Hello folks, I hope this is all working. This is the first time I've tried doing this. I'm doing a live stream from my office as I take some photos of some products, some beautiful pins from Jellycat Studio. I've also got my helper cat here, as you can see, but Aki, you're going to have to move out of the way, I'm afraid. As lovely as you are, I need this space. Thank you, buddy. Alright, so I've got this set up here, and I'm just going to need to just make a quick change here, but I've got this set up to synchronize to my desktop, so it will automatically copy over the photos to my computer so that you'll be able to see them as I take them. I'll just need to reconnect the camera, since while I was setting up it went to sleep. Also, let me know if the music is too loud in the background. Hello Justine, nice to see you here. Justine, folks, is the designer of most of these beautiful pins. She's the designer of the one that you can see on your screen right now. She and our friend Kat together make up Jellycat Studio, and they do some amazing, beautiful stuff. So I've offered to help them out with some product photography, and I'm going through all the different pins that they've got and getting the shots that they need for various product shots for the listing, for social media, for all sorts of stuff like that. So I'm just going to work through this as I would normally. If you've got any questions, I'll try to answer them. Just put them in the chat. I can see that on my screen from here. But I'm just going to get to work. So we'll start off with this product shot here. So I'm just trying to get one with the pin on its backing. Okay, I'm a little too close for that, so I'm going to take out my extension tubes. I'm shooting with my Canon 5D Mark IV with the 135mm f2 lens. Now that lens has got a minimum focusing distance of about 90 centimeters, so I'm much closer than that, which is why I need to use these macro extension tubes, which allow me to get close enough to fill the frame with the pin. Justine, if you're still watching, can you just leave a message to let me know if the audio is all coming through well, if you can hear me, if the music is too loud, because I want everyone to be able to follow what I'm doing. Alright, now let's have a look at that and see how it looks. The exposure looks good. How about the depth of field? So what I'm seeing in the back of my camera is pretty much the same as what you're seeing. Several seconds later, it takes a little bit of time for it to copy over to my computer. Okay, that's looking good, but I think I need to increase the depth of field a little bit to get the Jellycat logo in focus, and also I want to change the lighting position so that the gold highlights aren't all illuminated. If they're partially illuminated, then it shows more the fact that it's shiny. Okay, that's better. It's also tilted away, so if I move the camera up and point it down, that will keep the line of the objects, of the subjects, more in line with the focal plane of the camera, the sensor. Let's see if that makes a difference. Yeah, that's better. You can even see the print on the logo. And how does the reflections look by comparison? Yeah, that's good. Everything is good. Fantastic. Thank you, Justine. I appreciate you checking that for me. Okay, so... Alright, that's that shot. Next shot that I need to get is just a shot of the pin by itself on a white background. So I'm just using blue tack and a piece of white paper here to get what I need. I need a flat white background for these shots. I'm also just sticking the pin through where needed. And a pair of helping hands things. These are used by people doing electronics for soldering. I'm also using them for holding stuff for macro subjects. One of the things about these pins, they're beautiful and shiny, but they're also fingerprint magnets, so I've got to keep cleaning them whenever I touch them. Alright. positioning is always tricky. Now I wanted to make sure the paper's not blocking this light off because I want to see the highlights on the side as well, and that's looking good. I think I have to drop this back down again. Okay, I think I need to put that extension tube back in. Back. Oh, there we go, that's looking better. Alright, now I'm going to rotate this one slightly because that's how I've always seen the design. With the cat sort of floating and the bottle slightly to the side. I gotta say, I love the concept of an astronaut cat. I'm a cat lover myself, as you know, I've been able to tell from the start of the stream. Beautiful work, Justine, by the way. Ah, that looks good. Let's see how it looks on screen. Beautiful. That's showing some nice reflections, but the gold is a little dark. So let's bring this one around a little bit and see if we can catch some reflection. I might need to turn this around a little. Reflections in product photography are always a bit tricky. That was better. That's good, but it's a little bit blurry. I think maybe because I'm shooting at a 20th of a second with this light, I might up the ISO and increase the shutter speed by an equivalent amount, just to make sure that I'm not shaking it at all. Yeah, that's better. Great. Okay, now the reverse side of the pin. It might be hard for you to see from the photos the size of this, but if I hold it up to the camera like that, it's at a distance from you, I know, but you can sort of see how big it is relative to my fingers, so that'll give you an idea. Get a bit of glue tape. Did I leave some glue tape residue on there? No, I don't think so. Okay. And we want to have the clasp on the back so you can see what sort of clasp it is when you're buying the product. Okay, that's looking good, but a bit dark. So I might open the aperture up just a smidge because I don't want to go too high in the ISO. So I'm going to stop on aperture and ISO to try and get the best compromise. Okay, good. That was too fast, so that means I can drop the ISO back down. Let's try that. Let's have a look at the histogram. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right. How does the sharpness look? Yeah, that's good enough, given the size that it'll be showed on the website. Alright, so we've got our background shots. The plain background shots. Now, I need to get a couple of shots with it in situ to give you an idea of what it might look like. So, I've got this wonderful head, which I've used for other things in the past. I also was sent Lots of fantastic little props and other things for set dressing for this. Now, these came from Kat. Both Kat and I own pets with white fur, so I think fur is something that I'm going to have to be keeping an eye open for, because my cutie and Kat's puppies are adding a bit of fur to some of these items, so I need to be sure that they are kept as clean as possible from that. I'll need to be doing some editing and post afterwards to fix that. That position doesn't look quite good. Let me drop it down a little bit. Looks alright. Need to bring this light forward a little bit because the head is now casting a shadow on the pin. So I'll get a close-up shot on the hat and then a wider shot. Oh, don't you love that sound? Alright. Oh, that looks great. Getting some beautiful reflections. How does the exposure look? A bit bright. Oh, on the screen actually it looks better. I might drop it down a little bit though, because some of those highlights are a little bit hot and I can always brighten it in post. Yeah, that looks good on my screen. How about... Yeah, that's good. It may look a little dark when you see it, but if it's dark enough so that it doesn't blow out the highlights and the reflections, that means I can just brighten up everything else. Alright, now a wider shot, because how that is there, you can't really tell how big it is. You need to have a bit more context than that to get a good idea. Even further than that, I think. That's better. Angles are all important. Got to get it just right for the reflection and for composition and all that. How does that look? Oh yeah, that's good. Very nice. Those reflections are looking lovely. Alright. Now while we've got that there, I've also been doing a little animated GIF of each shot, or of each pin. So that gives you an idea when you look at the product listing of the shininess, because in still photos it can be hard to tell. So let's just check that's in focus. Took another shot, that's fine. I doubt the video will come up on here, but I'll record it anyway. That should be enough. Ah, I didn't record. Okay, what happened then? Still in focus. Yeah, it's not wanting to record video. Why is that? Maybe because I'm tethering. Let me try unplugging the tether and see if that works. Yep. Oh well. Oh, it's rocking around. Okay, that should be enough. Let's just check it. Yep, that's good. Put the tether back in and reconnect it. Tether, come on. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's zoom in so you can see that shot. Oh, that's out of focus. All right, I'm gonna get that shot again, just so that I can be absolutely sure we've got what we need. Let's have a look at that one. No, still off. I might up the aperture. Yeah, that's it. Nice, those colours come out beautifully. Alright, now what I'll do next, I think, is I want to get a nice shot of it, not on a hat, but sort of on a styled backdrop with some, some styling and setting stuff around it. So it's pink and purple. What colour would that look good against? So I've got a few felts here that Kat has sent me. Needs to be a bit of a contrast. Maybe green. I'll give that a shot. A little clean. Okay, now for this, I'm going to need to hold up the felt a bit because I don't have the option of putting the camera pointing straight down. These helping hands are good for many things. Alright, I've also got a whole bunch of little styling props that Kat sent over that I can use. So what would work best? We've got feathers, two different types, leaves, petals, and some more felt. What would suit a cat in space? Maybe feathers because it's flying away. That's logic, right? lots of feathers. Oh, these are beautiful though. Alright. Leave a little space around it. I might have to get the light stand out for this other light because it's, from this angle it's too low, the shadows aren't as flattering. What else have we got? Black one. Some white. I love these spotty ones, they're beautiful. Right, leaving the slightest breakage enough to move them around. Alright, that's looking good. Let's get this lighting a bit closer. And a bit higher. Helper cat has returned. I think he's hungry. Hello. Where would I put this? Yeah, I think I'm going to need another light stand. Alright. You guys keep an eye on Archie for me. If he jumps up on here, yell at him to get down, okay? Yeah, looks like he was a good boy. I love being able to shoot in my office, doing photo shoots, but when you've got a tripod and 2 light stands, it can get a little bit crowded. Now I'm going to need to raise the tripod up a bit for this. Might even be able to use this without the extension tubes, although I think it's still going to be a little too close. Yeah, definitely. Alright, let's try a smaller tube. It's always a challenge to try and put down lenses on when you can't see what you're doing. There we go. It's just a little too close. I guess I did need that bigger one after all. There we go. Looks good, but I think I need to add a few more feathers around the outside edge because I want the green to be mostly covered away from the center. If it's showing too much green, I'll show you what I mean. If I take a photo, you'll see the green all the way around to the corners. That sort of draws the eye out from the center. Let me zoom out for you. There we go. So you can see at the edges there where there's green in the corners, it doesn't frame it well. So it needs to be better framed than that, so that the eye is drawn into the center where the pin is. After all, that's the star of the show. Oh yeah, that's better. That's looking good. Let's see how it looks on the big screen. Yes, nice. How are they looking, Justine? Do you like them so far? Am I on the right track? Alright. Next, I want to get another animation, or a video this time, to use on social media. And that means you won't be able to watch the video as I take it, but you can see the process I go through to get it. I'm going to leave those feathers out for now because there's another pin, a sister pin to this one, that is the same design but different colours, and I want to use the same feathers for that but just on a different colour background. Oh, hello Archie. Now, you're not going to go and take these feathers, are you, mate? Oh, good boy, staying out of the way. What did you click on there, mate? You clicked on something. Okay, now for this. No, mate, that's not a toy. At least it's not a toy for kitties to play with. Okay, for this one, I am using a rotating tabletop thingy. Now this is great, but one big problem with it is that it comes in two speeds, fast and very fast. So yeah, that's the slow speed. So I need to shoot it in slow-mo and then slow it down in editing. This is a great tip for anyone who has pets and wants to do photography. A little bit of gaffer tape will pick up pretty much all the fur and dust on a felt or other similar surface. That sits beautifully. And I'm just going to make sure it's in the center. Get your fingerprints all over it too. Try and hold it by the sides. Interesting, as soon as it starts to turn, it falls over. Let's try standing it up and doing that first. Maybe the angle of the back is going to make a difference. Yeah, it does make a difference, but I think it was the right spot to start with. Set in the middle. Yes. Okay, great. Thanks, Justine. I'm glad you like it, and I'm glad you're still with me. Let's see if we've got anyone else watching. I don't know if there's anyone else watching, but if there is, say hi. Okay, drop these legs back down again. That is so fast. I wish I had more control over the speed of it. It would mean I wouldn't have to do that editing afterwards to slow it down. I think this is going to need more tubes because I'm getting closer. If you don't know what these tubes are, the way lenses work is that they have a distance that they can focus an image to, but closer than that and it won't focus. What these tubes do is they move the lens further away from the sensor, which means it can focus closer, but then it can't focus at infinity. So you take the lenses off and on to suit what you need is. And if you can focus closer, that means you can essentially get a macro effect. Needs to be a little higher. And then another tube. Or did I? I need to come back a little bit. It's always a balancing act with macro stuff. The depth of field is so narrow, it can be hard to tell when the object is in the right spot. It's not in the centre either, now it's wobbling side to side. See, I'd like to be able to measure the centre of this and mark it, but of course the mark would then be in the shot. That's better. Oh, I get some lovely glints off this. I'll show you on my computer screen in a minute. Once I've got the video, I'll play it back on the screen. Hide the centre because it's taking up most of the field of view, so slight movements make a huge difference. And of course, as I move it to centre it, that changes the focus. Okay, that's good. Glasses are fogging up. Gosh, that table's noisy. I might have to invest in a high quality one. This is just a cheap $10 thing from wish.com. Alright. What exposure settings? Yeah, that looks alright. bit brighter even. Okay, now I need to change it to 50 frames a second, so I've got more to work with slowing it down. Let's give that a shot from there. I'll try and get 2 full rotations, so I've got at least one to edit from, because I want to make this loop. Alright. And that, I believe, is the last of the shots that I need for this pin. And now I do it all again with all the other pins, and I think I've got maybe a dozen. So there's a bit of work involved in this, but that's because I want to give Justine and Kat plenty of options for them to choose from, and it's a great way to help them out with their business. So I'm gonna keep streaming because I'm gonna shoot for a bit longer. But actually, what I'll do is I will now go over and I will do some post-processing of these photos so that you can see that side of things as well. That means you can also see the video that I just took, which I'll need to copy over. The tethering allowed the photos to be copied straight onto the computer, which is great, but the videos wouldn't work with that, so I'll need to copy them manually. Just going to need to shuffle things around a little bit. Can turn those off, which may make it a little bit dark, but I'm going to change the settings on the camera to fix that. Oops, feathers going flying. I guess that's what they're designed to do, isn't it? Alright, let's reposition the camera. Sorry for the close-up of my chest. I'm guessing that's what you're seeing. This is my oldest, dodgiest tripod that I'm using for the SLR that I'm doing for a webcam. So it's a little hard to position. Alright, let's get that all sorted. It's gone black. What have I done? Have I unplugged the power on it? Alright, never mind about that. Let's just go straight to desktop. So let me just configure my OBS here to make it full screen. Window capture, that's it. And I'll turn off the video capture. So now you should be able to see that full screen. I'll lock that down again so I don't accidentally bump it. Okay, now to copy over the video. So let's sort it by size. That'll put the video separately. There we go. I'll put it in a subdirectory, which I didn't mean to, but that doesn't matter. Alright, that's done. So if I synchronize that, it brings in the video. But Lightroom isn't good for doing video, so I'll show these to you just in my media player, which I think means I need to change the view from application to monitor. Hang on, let me click on the video. Wrong one. Okay, that one's from previous shoot. Okay, so now let me change that. Hang in there, get in there, folks. Window capture, there we go. Alright, so if I play this now, you should be able to see that. So this is where we're moving the hat side to side. Look at that glint. That's what I needed to get. That's what the point of that video was. Goes out of focus at this point, but that's okay. I'll get it from right here to here, just where it's in focus. Also, these are going to be used for low resolution GIF files to go into the product listing. So if it's a little bit out of focus, that won't show in that low resolution. And this is the full rotation. I need to select that video again, do I? Select that window. Thank you for your patience, folks. This is my first time doing this, so there we go. So doesn't that look beautiful? So I'll need to slow that right down and of course do a little bit of editing on it, but I'll do that later. First we'll do the, yes, it's already the right thing, okay. I'll go back to that folder. We'll delete those two because they were from the day before's shoot. You're welcome, Justine. Just saw your comment. These were also from testing earlier today, so I'll delete those. This is a fun shoot. It's beautiful pins. They're so cute. I love them. And it's nice to do it just on my desktop at home. It's really easy. So I'm going to rename those so that they're all in order. That was my cat/elephant just jumping off the desk thing you might have heard. What's the wow for, Justine? Do you like the video? Alright, so we need to find the shots that we're going to process. Usually it's the last of any set because once I've got it, I move on. So I'm going to set that as a rating 1. Yep, there we go, the last one again. Oh, how about that? Oh no, I only need to get one of those because it was right off the start. Yeah, the second one's a little bit blurrier there, unfortunately. There we go, that's good. Yeah, we only needed one shot of that, didn't we? Because we got it straight away. And then it's onto the videos. So I'll filter that down to the ones that I've marked with 1 star. And I've got this one in twice, so which one's better? Alright, not that one. Alrighty, let's do this. Just going to move my microphone a bit because it's covering my my keyboard. I can't see. Yeah, the videos look fantastic, don't they? Having them in motion really makes a difference, I think. Because they're pins, they're metallic, they're enamel, they glint and they shine. And having still photos, you can get a hint of that, but it's when they move, that's really when you can see how great it looks with the reflections. Alright, so we will put on lens corrections by default. See what the auto edit looks like. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm not sure about the white balance though. Let's go with the auto white balance. That's too warm. Let's tweak it a little bit. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Alright, now where do we go from here? What does it need? Is it noisy? No. Oh, there's a little bit of camera shake there, but again, you won't be seeing that when it's in the web size version. So I think that's forgivable, but I'll show these to Kat and Justine, and if they're not happy with how they've come out, then I'm going to reshoot them. But it's really hard to see that sort of fine detail when you're looking at the back of the camera screen for the issues that you've got. Alright, let's add a bit of contrast and maybe up the exposure a little bit. Yeah, maybe a bit of clarity, just give it some oomph. Now I'll try to transform just to square things up. Not quite, so I'll do this manually. So I just draw 4 lines, 2 horizontal, 2 vertical, and that will make sure everything's square. I use this all the time in real estate because real estate agents, justifiably so, don't like the walls being anything but vertical. If you're looking up or down, then that tends to have the effect of making the lines diverge or converge. So you have to keep the camera perfectly level, but that doesn't always work. So you have to do the transformation afterwards to make sure that everything is square. Alright, let's crop this down to a square around it. And I want the background to be more white because Kat has told me that they often like to put their product shots against white, so for an email mailing list. Now I don't want to nuke the shadow completely, but I do want to make the outside edge much more white. So that is nuked. So I will drop that back down in a second once I finish painting around it. Alright, now let's bring that back a smidge. I might increase the highlights and then drop the shadows to bring the shadow back. No, the shadow is in the highlights. Alright, let's drop the highlights back and put the whites up. Okay, that looks better. Now, there's a little bit of dust and stuff on the cardboard behind. Normally that's not an issue, it doesn't affect the quality of the product or anything like that, but just for the aesthetics of it, I'm going to take this into Photoshop and clean those dust specks up, and that'll help. It'll make it look cleaner, newer. It just gives a better impression when looking at products. Now, again, I'm using OBS to follow the application window, not the desktop, so I need to change this. Let me just change it to window capture. It's not letting me capture a whole desktop, it's just an application, so I have to change this manually each time by the looks of it. Oh well, no biggie. Alright, spot healing brush is magic for this. This is kind of the boring side of things, it's just me clicking a lot, getting rid of specks and dots. So if you have any questions about anything so far, now's the time to ask. If you like the look of these pins, you should definitely go and check them out on Jellycat Studio's website. It's one of many gorgeous pins. I will be photographing a lot more, depending on if you guys enjoyed watching this tonight. I might stream that, but otherwise you'll be able to see all these photos on the website quite soon, maybe in a couple of weeks or so. Depends on how bored I get in isolation and how much time I have to do this. The website is jellycat.studio, so it's basically their company name with a dot in the middle of it. I actually bought one of these pins myself. I have this same design, but I've got the darker version, and I wear that on my beanie, which I wear out to when I'm stargazing, taking photos of the night sky. Because honestly, a cat in space on a beanie when I'm stargazing, I thought was just a perfect match. And now that I've done the top half of this, I'm going to check to see if there's any questions. No, we're all looking good. Looks like it's just you and me for the time being, Justine. When I do recordings of my editing process for the video courses that I've made. If you're interested in those, just search online for Neil Creek and Night Photography Unlocked. That's one of my courses. Or what was the other one called? Photo Nuts and Bolts and Photo Nuts and Shots. You can see those courses online. But yeah, when I shoot this part of it, I always put this in time lapse. I make it go fast forward because it's kind of boring to watch live. Alright, let's see if there's any dust on the actual pin itself. Yeah, there's a little bit here and there. Even though you wipe it down, it's impossible to completely get rid of any dust. So what you're seeing here that I'm removing, they're specks of dust from my office. They're not imperfections in the manufacturing process. There can be little scratches or little marks that make the beautiful design slightly imperfect, but I know that Kat is very stringent with her quality control, and only the pins which have the highest quality get through. So they have a few seconds that they sometimes sell off at a discounted rate, but they had a thing recently where they did a fundraiser for the Australian bushfires, which was tremendously successful, I understand, where they sold off their seconds to raise funds. So thank you very much both to Kat and Justine for doing that for the people who are so terribly afflicted by those fires. But yeah, the quality of the pins is exceptional. So you know if you're going to be buying one, you're going to be getting something that's not just made by artists, but is of tip-top professional quality. You won't get better pins anywhere else. There we go. That looks much neater. If I go in the history and compare the original, yeah, there was a bit of dust on that with the cleaned up version. All right, so let's take that back to Lightroom. All I have to do is exit and save. And now go back to OBS and change it back to Lightroom. There we go. Hello Lightroom, you're going to show me the next pin? I can see it on my screen, there we go. Alright, similar process for this one. A little bit more straightforward since there's no dust to clean off a piece of card. Doesn't show up quite as much on the white, and when I brighten the background, a lot of it will disappear into that. Now that colour looks a little bit off to me. Where's the pin? I'll compare it. Yeah, it's too purple. The clouds are more of a peach colour. So I'll drop the magenta down a little bit, and that looks much better. Yeah, that's more like it. Okay, all good. So let's put the white back in the background. Not quite that bright. And just get rid of this bit where I had to go over the edge. Okay, that looks good. Let's take it over to Photoshop. Oh, hello Archie. Did you all catch that? That's him saying, feed me. He's a hungry cat. He's always hungry. It's a lot easier to clean up the dust off this one because it hardly shows up being a white background. Still a little bit on the pin itself, but hardly any. Easy to clean up. Oh, look at that little space cat, it's just so adorable. You've done a beautiful job, Justine. All right, that one looks good. Ah, I just realized you couldn't see what I was doing there. It didn't change over properly. Oh well. I wish it would catch up. Come on, Lightroom. Where is it? Why is it not keeping up with me? Okay, finally. Okay. So yeah, I'll just zoom in and show it to you. So that's the edited version. You can see that adorable kitty there floating in space. So we'll go on to the next one, which is the back. Actually, no, I'll skip that because the backs are not as interesting to look at, and I want to keep going on with the good stuff so that you've got a bit more interesting things to look at. Okay, now this one was nice. Needs a little bit of work. Is it not showing up again? What's going on? As soon as I go into the develop module, it disappears. Give me a second, I'm going to see if I can change this to actually just capture the desktop. Okay, I think display capture is what I've been wanting rather than, yes, that's it, display capture rather than window capture. Is that working? Sorry for the technical difficulties here, folks. As I mentioned, this is my first time doing this, so I'm learning as I go. Well, that is very odd. It won't capture the display. And it won't capture the editing of the, in Lightroom, it'll just capture the thumbnails. How odd. Oh well, not much I can do about that, I'm afraid. In that case, yeah, I'm sorry, I just saw your message. Lightroom shows up for grey for me in OBS as well, but it doesn't, when I'm in the thumbnail mode, it should be showing up. It shows up for me. Let's see if it comes across on the stream, which is a few seconds delayed for me, and Arky's begging me again. Very insistent boy. Oh well, I think due to technical difficulties, I may end this here. You've probably seen the majority of the process anyway. I might do this again in the future, and if I do, I'll make sure these issues are ironed out. But at least you got to see the photographic process, which is sort of the most fun side of things. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. Justine. I think you may have been the only one in here, but that's okay. I'll put this up afterwards for people to have a look at later on. But yeah, I hope this has been an interesting thing for you to see, and I'll try and do this sometime again in the future if you liked it. All right. Good night, folks. Stay home, stay safe, and we'll see you again in the future.